Promise is true. Hello, good afternoon. I mentioned I'll be online today. I hope your day is going well. This is Jifa. I'm talking about SOP today. Statement of purpose and how important that is to the school application process. So gather here if you want to hear about my SOP, what I wrote in my SOP. What did I tell them to wow the School of Graduate Studies? For them to say, hey, we want this girl. We want her to work with us. We think she has something to offer us. I hope you can hear me clearly. I hope I'm loud enough. So welcome. If you're just joining us, good afternoon to you. It's 12 noon here in the US. This morning, our clock was turned back an hour extra. So instead of it being 1 p.m., we are now 12 noon. So connecting with families across the world. I have to contact my family in Ghana. It used to be 4 hours time difference. From today, it's gonna be 5 hours time difference. So that's something I have to deal with. But welcome. So today I'm talking about SOP. I'm going to upload this video on my YouTube page. I also leave it on the Facebook page so you can share with your friends and anybody who couldn't join us today. So we are talking about statement of purpose, okay, SOP. So when you start the application process, most people don't know what to do. We get confused. Where do I start? What courses do I apply to? I made a post the other day about the things to look out for. So first off, you're choosing a program that is a good fit for you. So when we say good fit, it means that the program that you are applying for, you have experience, you have background that places you in a very good position within that program. And there's no doubt that when you are selected, you do well on that program. So select a program. I made that mistake in my initial applications when choosing schools. So initially I applied back in Ghana. I didn't know much about school psychology. I know about educational psychology because University of Ghana, there's educational psychology, there's clinical psychology, there's social psychology. But school psychology is something I didn't really know much about. But it's a big thing in the US. And every school district has got a school psychologist. It's when I came here that I realized, okay, this is the program I actually had to apply to, school psychology. So choose the program that is a good fit for you. And nobody can do that for you. You have to do research. You have to read on it. You have to find out from the school's website, what does the program have to offer me? So an SOP is a document that most schools require for you to complete your application. And the SOP is in several sections. You have to introduce yourself. So the first part of the statement of purpose. So the schools are applied to, some of them will give you a rubric. So a rubric is kind of the various sections, what they really want to see in your statement of purpose. One of the schools called it a goal statement. And for their goal statement, it was a bit different from the statement of purpose. So specifically, I would go through the goal statement for Temple University. So they said, write a 500 to 1,000 word statement in autobiographical style, covering the following areas. How does a doctoral program at Temple fit your individual interests, needs, and future goals, including the faculty member whose research best matches your own interests? Why do you wish to become a school psychologist? What do you perceive as the role and functions of a school psychologist? What is your area of research interest? So these are the things I had to cover in my goal statement. Okay, so this is an example of a goal statement. When I wrote my statement of purpose for the other applications, the focus was also different. So I'm going to go through my goal statement. So the first part, I spoke about myself. My name is Stella Jifamono Awudi. I'm a young girl with a deep passion for mental health, and I'm enthusiastic about acquiring new knowledge to improve myself and others. These traits were developed through the diverse life experiences and lessons I have garnered over the years. I was born and raised in Accra, Newtown in Ghana, West Africa. As an only girl with two brothers, from an early age, I was compelled to become a caregiver for my two brothers. So I spoke about my life experiences, losing my mom and all that, and how that made me have a picture about mental health and how important mental health is. The negative perceptions we have about illness in Ghana, the way mental illness is stigmatized. Okay, and I connected that to why I wanted to do the program. So these experiences ignited in me a desire to study psychology. I completed my bachelor's and master's degree programs in the University of Ghana, Legon. So regarding vocational and teaching experience, my research for my master's thesis examined neuropsychological outcomes among polydrug users, persons using alcohol, and a control group of young people. So if you have relevant research experience in the second part of your SOP, go into details and talk about it. Use technical language, talk about the research you did, the research topic, what were the findings, who did you do this research with, which professor were you working with, what kind of analysis did you do. Just mention it briefly so they know that you have some idea what research is about. So I spoke about the fact that through this research, I had the opportunity to become one of the few students to receive in-depth training on several neuropsychological test batteries and other psychological tests. So this training has been particularly useful in my practice as a clinical psychologist over the years. In addition, I was honored to work with as a graduate assistant with Professor Charles Matekole and Professor Dotianu, both of whom are professors in neuropsychology at the Department of Psychology in the University of Ghana. These professors have been my mentors over the years, and I also lectured. So briefly, I'm just going through because it's lengthy. There's a 1,000-word write-up. So I went ahead to talk about my teaching experience. So I was teaching long distance when I was in the University of Ghana doing my master's program. So if you have relevant teaching experience, it's very good because as you apply for school, you may be taken as a TA, and you'd looking at your SOP, if they know that you have that background experience, it is a plus for you. So I went further to talk about my career. So in addition, in 2018, I was employed at the Department of Psychiatry at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. I spoke about my role there, what I was doing over there. Then finally, what I was doing at the time I was applying for the school. So I was in New York pursuing my J1 program with an autism center. So that program was also relevant to what I was trying to apply into. So I connected that current experience to what I wanted to get into. So now you come and talk about why this university. Why do you want to apply to this university? What are they doing that is exciting? Or what do they have that you really want to be part of? So this one, this was to another school. I said, I'm interested in this school's school psychology program because of the program's commitment to inclusivity, equity, and social justice. And you have to research this from the school's website. Find out the mission statement and the purpose of that university. Like, what do they stand for? And why do you think that you fit into that particular program? These values are important to me due to my professional experiences and the intense stigma and marginalization that people with neurodevelopmental and psychological conditions experience in Ghana. I've been involved in sensitization efforts and media engagement programs. So these are things I've been doing. So connect your experience to what the school stands for and why you think you're a good fit. And one very important thing you need to do, ensure that you identify a professor within the department you want to apply to. Is there somebody in that department you would want to work with? If there is somebody there, make sure you mention the person's name, research them. What is this person doing? What is their research focus? What is their research interest? So you have to go to the school's website, the department's website. So this is what I did when I was applying. I had a notebook. Okay, I had a notebook And the first day I started writing in this notebook, I wrote in it PhD journey. And this was on the 24th of May. And in this notebook, every professor I researched, whatever they were doing, what research they were doing, I'll write it down. Because you want to match yourself to the professor's research, and it becomes daunting. It becomes a lot because you're applying to so many schools, or you're looking at so many schools and so many professors. Like, which one should I even focus on? It can be overwhelming. So when you take one university and you go through their faculty, okay, Professor A is doing obesity. Do I have experience in obesity? Do I have something I can connect to that program? Somebody is doing something in sexuality. Is this something I have experience in? Can I connect to that research? Don't just apply and mention a professor's name when you know nothing about what they are doing. You need to know something about what the professor is doing. And the only way you can do that is to go to their research. Like, find out what are they researching about? What are they excited about? And then connect yourself. Trust me, even if you haven't done anything directly related to it, there should be something you can connect yourself to. So I've done some work in fertility in the past, in a fertility hospital. So if I were looking at a program that a professor there is doing something in fertility, I can connect myself to that professor. And looking at your profile, they'll say, oh, okay, this person has something that we think would be a plus for us. So we can select this person to work with. So mention that professor's name. Make sure you mention at least 2 professors' name in your SOP, that these people, you want to work with them. These people are doing stuff that you're interested in and you'd want to engage them on in their research. And if you are lucky and that professor picks up your application packet, that is where you get your funding. Okay, when a professor chooses to work with you, so after I got selected, I got admitted, my professor told me that they brought my application packet to him and he looked at it and he saw, oh, okay, this girl is a clinical psychologist. She's been working in the hospital. She's been talking to people. She's had this research experience. I think I can do some work with her. Okay, he is a mathematics professor. I don't have mathematics background. Imagine, I'm a clinical psychologist, but I'm working with a mathematics professor, because he looked at my profile and he realized that, okay, he's going to do some work with students on mental health, and he thinks that my background will become relevant. So when you get a professor, pick up your application packet. That is when you get funding. For some schools, you have to apply for funding separately after you apply for admission. But for other schools, the moment you are selected, you are given automatic fee waiver. Okay, so mention a professor in your application who you really want to work with and what they are doing. And don't do cut and paste. So don't try the same SOP for 10 universities, and that will not help you. So it's a lot of work. Have an initial draft, and when you get to the last portion about the school, you can just mention the school. Why Michigan State University? Why University of Pennsylvania? Why Virginia State? Like, why this university? Okay, and you should identify the why by the university's mission and their purpose. Go to the department's website, find out like what are they excited about and how does that connect to you. One thing I mentioned in my goal statement for Temple University, why Temple University, was the fact that I saw on their page, let me pull that up and read that to you. I saw on Temple's page something about people of color. So where is that? I'm just scrolling through to see that. I can't see where that paragraph is, but it was something about 45 to 50% of the graduating class for 2025 are people of color. And when I was applying for schools, that's something that interests me. I want to be in a community which is multicultural, multiracial. I don't want to be the only person, the only black face in a sea of white faces. You want to be able to connect with other people. So I chose that school because I realized that school has several cultures represented over there. And that is great to connect to other races, other cultures. Okay, so that is what I wrote for my SOP. You mention why the university, then why this professor, and you conclude nicely. So let them know why you are a good fit for them. All my experiences and training have contributed to the development of my philosophy, which can be summed up in this quote by Richard Branson. If your dream doesn't scare you, then it is too small. I was a little girl from a small community in West Africa with big dreams of making the world a better place through academic excellence and an enthusiastic work ethic. I am keen to see that dream unfold in the world's greatest country. So that is how I ended my SOP. Okay, so for those who joined us late, I was going through, I can't read everything because obviously it's lengthy. Your SOP should be maximum 2 pages. They normally give a limit between 500 to 1,000 words. And just start. You don't write your SOP in one day. I started writing my SOP about August, and when you write, you send it out. Give it to friends to read and review for you. Let them give you feedback. Is it good? My first draft SOP I sent to Dr. Lily Pobi. She's a senior colleague of mine. And when my SOP came back to me, I saw it bleeding. I saw this red comment in my SOP and my heart was just broken. I said, gosh, I thought I'd put in so much effort into this, but it didn't stop me. So she said, just work on it again. Look at the comments. So look for friends who would constructively criticize your SOP, who can give you genuine feedback, not people who are afraid to correct you. Send it to people who can, to 5 or 6 people. Let them help you. Let them read through it for you. What do you think about this? Is it good enough? And then make sure that you edit. You don't want to send an SOP to a school with typos, typographical errors. You have the review button in your Word. Just click on it to review. Use grammar to check. Do your grammar check. Make sure that you dot all your I's, you cross all your T's, because it's a big put off for so many professors if you submit an SOP which has lots of errors in it. So make sure that you edit. You can never, I cannot overemphasize this, like edit your work very well before you send it out, and make sure that everything that is important about you. When I attended my interview for my admission, I was expecting so many questions on research, data analysis, whatever. I was so scared. My professor, my course advisor who interviewed me, the first question she asked me was, I have seen your SOP, I have seen your CV, I've seen the work you are doing. Tell me something that is not on your CV. And I was like, oh, what am I going to tell you? Because I thought I told you everything. Like, I didn't know what to say. So for a moment, I was like, wow, what am I going to talk about? Because I had covered everything. And when you read my CV and my SOP, you know what I've been doing over the past years. So I spoke about my life as a mom. I told her, okay, if you know everything else academically and educationally, the only thing I didn't put in there is the fact that I'm a mom. I have 3 kids and I left them behind in Ghana and I am here. She said, wow, that's amazing. Like, how are you doing that? That says a lot about you. Like, you're pursuing your dreams. So there is something about you that will get people's attention and focus on your SOP. Tell a compelling story in your SOP. Don't just be empty. Like, write something that when people read. So another SOP I submitted to another school, I spoke about my brother. So in part of my SOP, I spoke about my brother, I spoke about my mom. These are things that are very personal and sensitive to me. And they are things that have guided my life journey. So my brother is partially blind. And he's been that all his life. And growing up, I've had to take care of my brother. Going to school, I remember days that my mom would get angry because I came home without my big brother. Because he's my big brother, but I had to take care of him. Along the line, my younger brother came along and I had to take care of him too because I was about 10 years older than my younger brother. So this position placed me, being the middle child, but also being a carer, gave me that role of caring for other people. And I saw my brother go through challenges. He didn't have any psychoeducational interventions for him. He was partially blind, but he was in a classroom with other students who were visually impaired, who could not see at all. And he was supposed to use Braille to learn. How? and he was trying to see Braille with his eyes, something that was supposed to be felt with the fingers. So I wrote about this in my SOP, okay, and how important I feel psycho-educational evaluations and assessments are, and accommodations are. Here abroad, accommodations are made for children with special needs and difficulties in school. But back home, we don't have those accommodations for people to help them in school. So I wrote about my brother's journey, my brother's challenges, and the things that he's had to go through to be where he is right now. Currently, my brother is a trained teacher. He's teaching in one of the schools in Ghana. But as you can imagine, it wasn't an easy journey. So, in sum, write your SOP, tell your story. Don't cut and paste ChatGPT, because there are softwares now that can pick up that thing and just trash it. So write your story, let others review it for you. Connect yourself to the program that you're applying for. How does this program fit your needs? Are you a good fit for this program? How will they help you? How will they nurture you? It's not just about you want to travel abroad, so you want to apply for school. Make sure that you tell a story. The truth is that craft a story. I'm not saying lie, but craft a story that will connect you to that program, and that will help people see that like this person will be a good fit for our program. So if you have any questions, I don't want to make this a long video, max 20 minutes, and my time is up. If you have any questions, you can ask. I would answer before I leave, but just make sure that you tell your story as you write your SOP, and select a school that is a good fit for you. Okay, do you have any questions? If you have any question you want me to answer, or if you've written an SOP before, I'm just trying to read through to see if there are any questions. So those who are just joining us, we're talking about writing SOPs for school applications, and we are just rounding up here. But I'm going to upload this video on my YouTube page. It's a channel I just started. Still trying to figure it out. I want to share my story. I want to inspire people, because I know that we are very competent back in Ghana. Coming here, I realized that there are so many opportunities here that we are not taking advantage of. Like, don't be afraid to apply. I was so afraid. I thought I would not be selected. I thought I would not be a good fit. So somebody was asking whether I had any publications. Very good question. I had a publication, but it was not connected to my program in any way. So this is a good reminder. When I was applying for school, and for all of you who are trying to apply for schools, schools have open house sessions. So an open house session is a session where the school, they talk about the program. Go on the school's website and check if they have an open house session. My school had an open house session and I joined. So that normally happens in November, before the deadline for the program. And on that open house session, it's an informal session. Faculty members, current graduate students come and talk to you about the school's program, what they are offering, and eligibility requirements, what you need to qualify for the program. So I joined an open house session, and you didn't need a publication to be selected. Most of my colleagues, we are just 4 in our PhD program. We are just 4. And I don't know if any of them has a publication. Yes, I'm the only black person, or black West African, because there's another black person in my class, but she's an American. All the other 3 students are American citizens. I'm the only person from Africa within my classroom. And I had a publication, but it wasn't really related to school psychology or neuropsych or anything I'm excited about. It was on sexuality. It was on vaginismus. I did that when I was at Sinel Hospital. It had nothing to do with this program. So don't let that stop you. I know that scared most of us, because we think that we need to have a publication. It would give you a good standing if you have it, but if you don't have it, don't let that be something that will stop you from applying. You can still go ahead and apply. Any other questions before I end this live this afternoon. All right. Okay. Thank you all those who were able to join us for our live today. So the new channel I'm starting, I'm hoping I have the energy and the time to keep it up. It's GFirst Doctoral Journey, and it's gonna be on YouTube. I'm going to upload this video there, so you can share it to your friends. They can just watch it and learn and write that SOP and submit it. And I pray and I wish you all the best that you get selected, and I'll see you in the States very soon. Do have a good evening. Bye for now.